You may have heard the saying, repetition is the mother of learning. This captures an important human memory law, the power law of learning. Every repetition helps users practice a concept, a task, or an interaction. So, if your site uses a standard interaction pattern that people have encountered before on thousands of other sites, you're taking advantage of all the prior practice that users had with that pattern, and you're helping them be efficient on your site. That's the idea behind Jacob's Law. Your users spend most of their time on other websites, so it pays off to be consistent and follow well-established design standards. So that means there's no hope for innovation, right? We are doomed to have the search box in the top right corner, the logo on the left, and the navigation in a bar. Well, the truth is that any type of design innovation will incur a cost for users because they will need to spend time to learn how to use the new pattern. Innovation is easier to push when you have a very strong brand. Think Apple, Amazon, Google, or when you have a captive audience. For example, in an enterprise where employees don't have a choice to switch to another software or go back to an older version of the interface. It's also easier to innovate if your users will experience the new interface very often, perhaps several times a day. That means that people will have a lot of practice with your design in a short amount of time. Innovation can also happen if designers adopt it en masse and create a new standard. If all websites rebelled tomorrow and started placing the logo in the top right corner, then users would get the repetitions needed to reach expertise relatively fast everywhere. Usually, such a process takes time, but it did happen with design elements such as the swipe to delete gesture in iOS or the hamburger menu on mobile. If you're considering defining a new UI pattern in cases where a conventional design is already well established, ask yourselves, first, will the new design perform much better than the old once users have had the necessary practice? In other words, is there an advantage for users if they transition to the new design? If not, don't even try. Second, is it credible that users will be willing to try the new design again and again until they have learned it well enough to realize those long-term benefits? If people are likely to give up, for instance, leave a website for a competing familiar design, then don't introduce the new design. And third, can you speed up learning, either by exposing users to the new design more often or by making it easier to learn with contextual tips and other kinds of support? If yes, you will increase the proportion of users who will be willing to embrace the new design. So yes, consistency is the curse of innovation in design. Think twice at what you're trying to achieve. Is it worth departing from the well-beaten path? Does it make sense to innovate? Or will you be just as well served by a traditional design? If you're convinced that once your users will have learned a new pattern, they will save time over the status quo, then it can be worth trying. But remember that the path to innovation is long-winded and costly, and if your users won't have many learning opportunities, they may never reach the advantages accessible only after learning has happened.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of our UX videos, take a look at these over here and consider subscribing to our channel. On our website, nngroup.com, you can access our free library of over 2,000 UX articles. You can also register for one of our UX courses that offers live, hands-on UX training.